Hey, welcome to Outsmart Your Guitar. Glad you could join us. Today in the 11th edition of Early Help in Your Soloing Abilities, we're going to focus on a technique that you may not be really well versed in and that I don't see a lot of teachers cover, and that is transitioning between the positions of a given scale. In this case, the pentatonic minor scale in the key of G. There's only going to be one graphic, and I'm going to show you the rhythm part that you're going to be playing over for the rest of this lesson. All right, so let's just get right to it, and be sure to like and subscribe to Outsmart Your Guitar along the way. The rhythm part that you'll be playing over is actually pretty straightforward stuff. So your chords are all bar chords: G minor, D minor, E flat, and F. Not this F, this F. Okay, now for 3 bars, the rhythm is exactly the same. So it's 1 and mute 2 and 3 and mute 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and now the 4th bar you're going to play a little bit differently. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So you mute and of 3 and of 4. And how you do that is not with your palm, but with your fretting hand. Release the pressure. So 3 and 4 and you keep this going. 3 and, so the and stroke, you know to release. 4, release, and. Right? All right, here's what it should sound like. Now, you play this at a tempo that is suited to your current facility. If you're not a real fast player, play the rhythm kind of slow. If you are a fast player, resist playing the rhythm too fast. Slow down a little bit and work on the technique we're going to be talking about. So record this into your looper after you get it down. Remember, play it with a metronome to get it smooth and flowing. And then when you record into your looper, record with the metronome going to keep you in time. All right? Okay, so we're in the key of G and we're playing the pentatonic minor scale, right? Now, we have the first and the second positions. Now, how do you move between them? So there's a couple of places you can do this. We'll start with the simple one that you may already know. Here on the 3rd string. Now, I'm an advocate of leading with your first finger when you're making transitions, because when you're in the 2nd position, this is where your first finger sits. And so you want to lead into that. So the rest of your fingers pretty much already are in place, right? That's one spot. Another thing you can do is on the 4th string, move up 2 frets with your first finger, again, leading with your first, and then you're in the 2nd position. And you can do the same thing on the 5th string. So this requires you to really know and understand your scale. Now, when you're descending, now if you're using your 1st and 3rd fingers here, you can go back here, right? And you can go back here too. There, or right on the 3rd string. Now I go to my 2nd finger there, so that this becomes a little bit easier. And if I'm just going to sit, I stay with the finger that you would normally use playing the second position. But if I'm going to do bends, then I will work with the first and the third finger. So it depends what I'm doing, whether I stay strictly like that or like that. It just depends what I'm doing. So now let's just play in the first and second position using some of these transition points. So if you need to rewind to look at the demonstrations, go ahead at any point during the lesson, absolutely, because I'm just going naturally. I'm just improvising here. I don't have anything set. The idea is to take advantage of the knowledge you already possess, and we're going to expand it a little bit. Again, you have this transition here. You have this transition here, just like on the fifth string. And then on the third string, one that we almost all know. And then the second string and the first string. Now, I don't generally make an ascending transition on the second or first string. I will do it here or here, because it's just easier to do. So go ahead for 5 minutes or so, practice those transition points and make it start to happen. Again, lead with your first finger on all of these, and then even descending, lead with your first finger as well. All right? 5-10 minutes or so. Have some fun with it, having recorded the rhythm into your looper. We've covered the moving between the first and the second position of the scale. Let's cover moving between the second and third position of the scale. Again, your second position. And your third position. Okay, so how do you do this? Well, there's a couple of ways to go about it. We'll go with the easiest first. Whoops. Right here on the third string, go from 5 up to 7. And reverse. You do it the same, leading with your first finger. Now, you can also, if you want, on the sixth string, move up like that. You can go from your second finger, if you're doing that, to your first finger here. Or up to you on that. Now, moving here and here, not the most recommended move. So go to your first finger on the second string, move up from 6 to 8. And the reverse. Lead with your first from 8 to 6. On the first string, same thing. Go to your first finger on 6, first finger on 8. All right. So now what you do is the same idea. You're going to play between the second and the third position over the rhythm that you've got played out, set up in your looper. So something along these lines. And you just play through those two positions and really work it. And don't worry about making mistakes. You just work it. And if you want to do this whole routine here, you can do that too. So the best positions here on the third string, second string, first string, and in reverse. First string, second string, third string, sixth string. And remember where your roots are, because those really help too. All right, so 5-10 minutes going through that. All right. Just want to drop in here and remind you that down in the description is a link to patreon.com/outsmartyourguitar. Go on over there, join for free, and gain access to a whole bunch of free lessons and the written material that accompanies them. You can then become a full patron by subscribing at one of 3 levels, and you'll gain access to lessons that are not featured here, expanded versions of lessons that are featured here, and all written material where it's included. So go on over, check it out, become a patron. All right, let's get back to the lesson. Let's do the transition between the third and the fourth position now. So, third position. And fourth position. Notice I'm always ending on a root just to keep myself centered in the key of G. So, transition points. All right, so at the top of the third, on the first string, you're going to go from 8 to 10, and now you're in the fourth position. And this is why we lead with the first finger, because in the fourth position, that's where your first finger normally sits. Transitioning back on the first string, you just do it in reverse. 10 to 8. On the second string, you go from first at 8 to second at 11, because that's what is normally occupying that fret. And when you descend, second to first, from 11 to 8. The third string, not the best transition point, but occasionally I'll do it down in reverse from 10 to 7 instead of from 7 up to 10. That's just more natural to me, descending, than ascending. But on rare occasion, I may do that nonetheless. On the fourth string, 8 to 10. And then 10 to 8 when descending. On the fifth string, 8 to 10 as well. And then descending, 10 to 8. On the sixth string, 8 to 10 as well. and then 10 to 8. And that is the transition points between the third and the fourth position. All right, let's cover the transition points, playing over the progression in positions 3 and 4. Again, stay focused, don't wander, and just focus on what we're working on, transitioning between the third and the fourth position. Start anywhere you want and go from there. 3, 4. And you just go. Spend 10 minutes or so really digging in and getting yourself clear on those transition points so that you can use them to explore even new possibilities you never thought of before. Let's look now at transitions between the fourth and the fifth position. As you know, the fourth position and the fifth position. So your transition points, let's take a look. So you start. Now, you can transition on the first string up from 10 to 13 and back. 10 to 13, 13 to 10. On the second string, go to your first finger here to transition from 11 to 13. And then back to your first or to your second finger, depending on how you want to do it, from 13 to 11. You can even go second to first if you want. It's up to you. Now, third string, from 10 to 12. And back again from 12 to 10. Right? And on the fourth string, whoops, same idea, 10 to 12. And 12 back to 10. Now on the fifth and sixth string, you would go from 10 up to 13, and then 13 back to 10, if you so choose. I tend to make my transitions here on at least the fourth string. Okay, so, whoops, I went down into third position. Sorry about that. And those are the transition points between the fourth and the fifth position. Let's play between the fourth and the fifth positions now over the progression and get those transition points all worked out. 3, 4. And you just go and go, right? Spending a good amount of time getting all these transition points worked out and figuring out new ideas, because these transitions suggest ideas you may not have thought about previously. All right? 10, 15 minutes. I hope this primer on transitions gives you a starting place to help you understand the importance of developing a methodology. I use lead with your first finger. That's the technique that I use moving between the positions, whether ascending or descending up and down the fretboard, so that I have a consistent approach to moving between the positions. There are occasional exceptions, of course, but generally speaking, when you're moving up or down the fretboard, this lead with your first finger thing usually will get your hand right where it needs to be in the new position that you're moving into, and your fingers will be right where they're supposed to be, and you can keep going from there. That's the idea, right? All right. Thank you again for letting me be your teacher and sharing my knowledge with you to help you become a better guitar player and better able to do the things you're striving to do, whether it's writing original music or learning songs by your favorite artists. All right? Thank you so much. In the meantime, you take care, and we'll see you next time.